Folks, did you know this past weekend was Disneyland's Pride Night? The internet does, and the internet has lots to say about it. Alpha Fox, with 500,000 views, says Disney is dead to me. We're going to be careful about what we say. I think we can play the audio. Can we? Hold on, let's see. Nope. It's not actually the audio from the night. It's its own music, so we can't play it. But here's what Disneyland Pride Night looked like. And the reason the internet has things to say is because of these individuals in the parade. If you look behind the sign, people are asking, did Disney do drag? Because this was an all-family event. And I know that libraries across the US of A have had this sort of thing happen, but Disneyland with drag is a different thing, and the internet is weighing in on it. Here's more of the video. You can see back there. You can see, it's they make it just close enough, eh? Now here's the Fab Five, all doing their little dance for Pride Night. You got Goofy and Clarabelle. Is Clarabelle an icon? I don't know. They kind of look like they're dressed for Epcot in 1982. Daisy's got it going on. Mickey, and there's the balloons. And again, this was an event for families, for kids. And so the internet is all up in arms. We've got another video we'll show in just a minute, but first I want to go to the panel. Culture, we'll start with you. Disneyland is doing this. Walt Disney World is definitely not. In fact, if you go to Walt Disney World, basically the only thing they have for Pride is 4 murals that are hidden away. There's one at Magic Kingdom that's on the purple wall. There's one at Hollywood Studios that is literally on an exit door for cast. I don't remember where the Epcot one is. It's so hidden. And Animal Kingdom is just before you get to Starbucks on the left on an exit door. And that's it. Oh, wow. I think they got a rainbow slushie somewhere in Magic Kingdom, but that's it. That's all. But Disneyland is still all in on Pride, and Culture, the internet is weighing in. What are your thoughts on this and the unnecessary controversy that Disney has with the drag deal?
Well, they should have left that out of there, but again, they don't have a choice. I mean, they would have an absolute revolt in Burbank if they didn't do something at Disneyland for this, despite its lack of popularity and its frustration by, families going to visit the park that may not want to be presented with this. Now, I don't know if this is an after-hours parade, if this is. That's a different conversation entirely. But because again, if it's that kind of an event, that would be a private event. Well, it's like Disney After Hours. It's like Mickey's Very Merry Christmas. It's Not So Scary Halloween. That's what this is. There are 2 nights of it. They've done at least one now, and it's funny to me that the juxtaposition of the American flag bunting on all of the Main Street buildings. Because it is the 250th, so they're doing all that. But here comes Pride, and it's just kind of funny because it doesn't really, it doesn't jive together to me. Maybe I'm wrong. Well, I mean, the grand theft of the rainbow is a different conversation, but let's talk about, because the prismatic light effect is something that has been
Whoa. You're dropping words like prismatic lighting effect. What are you, Clark Griswold? What are you talking about, Culture?
It's been the rainbow is not. A rainbow was captured by a group of was by a particular group for a particular purpose. So they just adopted something that was available to everybody, including Captain EO. But we'll step away from that. I'm just going to say this: this is a private ticketed event. You knew what you were getting. So if you bought a ticket to this event, you knew what you were getting. And I think if they treated this type of activity more like that, you would see the actual relevance of these events and these things, because it would be reflected in the attendance and earnings. At some point, despite that parade being so small, because I think we saw all of it just now.
I think so,
yeah. That tells you that the company doesn't want to invest too heavily in something that maybe they aren't going to make money from. And I think that's going to be more telling. And that's the thing. That kind of exposure is kind of negative. So if people go to these events to cover them and to show that the participation is incredibly limited, it really does put Disney in even a worse position when they try to support this. But this was always going to happen because it's Burbank. Burbank's going to push this in, and everybody in the company is going to support it, or the people that are on that kind of political train, they're going to support that. And so I like I said, if you knew what you were getting, don't be surprised, but definitely cover it and expose it for what it is. That's what I think the important part is.
Erika, the other thing that I'm interested in is the fact that Disney has decided we're not doing any of this at Walt Disney World Resort. We'll do it 2 nights at Disneyland, and they pushed the hours back. It's really late. And I think that's maybe because they need to, they don't want, this is my speculation, I don't think Disney at the C-suite wants videos of quasi-drag and kids on Main Street. I don't think they want that. But yet, as Culture said, they'll have a revolt on their hands if they don't do Pride Night at Disneyland. Disney World, no problem. There is nothing at Disney World right now versus past years for Pride.
Well, it's illegal in the state of Florida for children to be around anything drag. That was signed into law, about a year ago?
Well, that'll do it then, eh?
Oh, yeah. Disney's kind of backed into a corner with the state of Florida on that one. And I think it's a good thing. I mean, it's their flagship resort. You get all this international travel. Keep it classic, keep it clean. And then at Disneyland is California. Obviously, it's, very liberal out there. And make it a private ticketed event. So if you want to go and that's your thing, you pay for it and go. You want to take your kids, or that's all. That's you do you, boo boo.
Yeah, that's a great point, Erika. And it makes me wonder. It makes me wonder if Pride is now essentially a political thing where, Ron, maybe it only is something that can survive in places like California, New York, Seattle, Portland, and you try to do it in Orlando, and it's like, hey, we're not being supported through DEI, ESG hedge funds anymore. We can't do this.
Okay, that sounds crazy to me because I had heard rumor and speculation that there was going to be a huge Pride events at Disney Abu Dhabi, of course.
Abu Dhabi. No, but that's part of the reason why we didn't do any of the parks in June. Because I remember Pro asked me a long time ago, do you go to the parks in June? It's my birthday month, and I just celebrated my birthday this weekend, and that's why we only did activities at the resorts, and we enjoyed the amenities in that, we were in the bubble, but we weren't in the parks because I was afraid of, I'm going to say it, I have 2 small kids. I have 2 older ones that are grown adults, and I have 2 small children. I don't want them being around this, and I will do whatever it takes to avoid that by all means. So I didn't see any of that when we were doing the activities and the dining on the in the resorts over the weekend. But I know that I just didn't want to take a chance if it was happening in any of the parks, and that's the truth.
Well, my understanding is the Gay Days thing was even moved to, there's a little hotel in Celebration. That's all there was.
I don't think there was much this year, and there's like Pro said, there's like the painted signs that stay up. Interestingly enough, I think it was around 2024. So if we go back 2 years, those Pride photo spot things, they actually stayed up well later on into the summer.
Yeah. They'll have them removed. Yeah,
they were gone last year. They were gone like that, and I'm pretty sure July 1st they'll be gone again.
And the most prominent one is at Disney Springs.
Yes, the dad one for Father's Day.
All the other stuff, the theme parks. I'm telling you, they've hidden it away. I mean, listen, for people who know Magic Kingdom, okay, if you know the layout. You know that one of the places that is just completely unused is the Tomorrowland Terrace, where they do the dessert parties, and that's about it. It used to be a restaurant. They really don't use it anymore. That is where you have to go to find the Pride mural this year. I mean, it is just good luck.
It's very, very hidden away. What Culture has, I know he wants to.
Well, no, I was just going to say, because you're there most often, I think, Ron, between you and MJ. I'll just say that they've always had an Instagram wall there in that spot. So that's, to me, it's like, well, this is just the new Instagram wall that they keep cycling out, like, the purple wall. And then
it's even to the right of that, Culture.
Oh, so really? Wow.
Yeah.
I was also really more concerned about the attire that the Pride, how do you, Culture help me, the people that celebrate Pride, not necessarily activities in the park. The Skittle Nation folks, how they would be dressed in the parks. And that's also why I don't want to go in the parks during June, because I don't want my kid in line waiting for a ride and say, why is he
I didn't see a lot of that. I haven't seen a lot of that.
No, way less than the past.
As a matter of fact, you had talked about this before, MJ. The Cool Kids Summer thing is going on, and I actually think that marketing might be working.
It watered everything down.
I have seen a lot more families and kids in the parks lately than I've seen Disney adults, and especially with things like Jesse's Rodeo Roundup or whatever that thing is called over at Magic Kingdom that they have in Diamond Horseshoe. I went in there. That was packed the other day, and it's a really good presentation. Plus, it's a place for people to get out into the air conditioning. It does look like, at least in Florida, Walt Disney World has been the executives, whoever, smart enough to start catering more to families this time of year. So that is what I've seen a lot of, and a lot less. Every once in a while, like I've seen like a cast member who's like wearing a lanyard, and they might have some little thing on their lanyard that has a rainbow or whatever. But
maybe I'm just traumatized, but I had my guard up, and I'm just traumatized from the past.
It's if definitely less than the past.
I think that's great, and maybe I'll consider that for next year.
Well, and this brings me to a question, not to, put pro on the spot, but to put pro on the spot.
Let's go, big boy. What you got?
Wasn't there the 35th annual Gay Days scheduled for the beginning of June this year, and wasn't it held off property?
Yeah, they called it Celebration. They said it was at the Celebration. Was it the Holiday Inn?
Yeah, I think
it was.
Yeah.
But it was even offside of Celebration. I mean, it was teeny weeny, itsy bitsy. And, listen, everybody's got their opinions. Grown-ups can be grown-ups, do what you want to do. The problem was that things had got pretty darn eccentric at the parks with the Gay Days. Yeah. And so it had gotten to the point where there was so much PDA in the month of June that I think it was affecting.
Exactly.
And I think Disney's response has been Cool Kids Summer. They're trying to solve two problems there with that marketing. One, they're trying to say it's not so hot. Oh, but it is. And they're trying to say, bring your kids. Cool Kids Summer. And you've got that combined with the political atmosphere in Florida, which I think has made a lot of that less attractive to the folks out there who support Pride Month. And so I think Disneyland is the place for them to go if they want to go. And, there are a few other places doing stuff, but I'm telling you, the corporate collapse of Pride Month continues on, and it has been a dramatic shift. It makes you really realize just how this was propped up by corporate USA and the WEF, and not necessarily by the American people at large. I mean, there's a lot of people with vociferous support of it, but in terms of like the masses, I think a lot of the companies wanted to turn this into a new Christmas, marketing for rainbows and kids are going to buy it and toys in June. And it has totally and utterly collapsed. 100% failure in terms of that. That's where we'll leave it, folks. If you want to find the mural in Magic Kingdom, though, Culture, I'll show you one last time. You got to walk the bridge. And then what you were talking about is the purple wall right here where they do the photos. Yeah. It's over here, Culture. It's over here, right at the edge of the Tomorrowland Terrace.
You're getting no lighting. So, if you're a professional photographer, it's a disappointing location.
But some people don't want lighting, okay? Some people just want...
What we do in the shadows, Pro?
Oh, boy. He went there.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.